For many people in Western Australia, it feels like the joy has been sucked out of life the last few years. What with lockdowns and restrictions and impending lockdowns, restrictions, mandates, all those sorts of things. Where is the joy? In our growth groups this year, or this term in particular, we're going to be looking at the letter of Philippians that Paul wrote from prison to Christians in Philippi. They're going through a tough time. He's going through a tough time. But infused with his letter is this whole idea of joy because of who Jesus is, what Jesus has done, and where Jesus is. Now, in our growth groups, we normally track with the sermon material, but this term we're looking at some high altitude issues in our sermons at church on Sunday, insofar as we can still meet together, about what church is and where we're headed for the year and what it means to be God's people meeting together. But in our growth groups, we've decided to change things up and go through the letter of Philippians. So we're going from high altitude, big issues, to going through the forest, trudging through the trees as we see the landscape of Philippians and what it means to us today. Now, what I want you to do in your growth groups is to read through the 4 chapters of Philippians together in your first session. But I also want to provide a little bit of an overview of Philippians for you before you do that. And there's a fantastic resource called the Bible Project, which puts together visual displays of each book of the Bible. And I'm going to send a link for you for Philippians. So Paul's letter to the Philippians is split up in 9 ways in this video. And we're going to use those 9 sections roughly to track our 9 weeks. So that'll take us through a term of Philippians and looking at the joy that we have in Jesus despite our circumstances. It's a great video. Watch it. If you're a visual learner, it's going to be fantastic, and it'll help you track with the letter as we go through it. I think that's the best way to go through Philippians, is to take it section by section and see what God was saying to them then and what it means for us today. And surprise, surprise, you're going to find that the application is pretty much the same, that joy in circumstances is fickle, and joy in Jesus, despite circumstances, is something solid and lasting. So I want you to enjoy going through Philippians together, and I want it to increase your joy in Jesus and increase your love for each other as you see what God is doing among us as his people, even in difficult times, just as he did in difficult times for Paul and the people in Philippi. So have a watch of the video together, read the letter of Philippians together, and spend time asking yourselves over the next 9 weeks, how can the joy we have in Jesus multiply in our lives as we face these uncertain times?